The Connor Show. Every now and then, though not as often as I should, I will open up Uncle Punch and practice. I'd seen a puff combo that I wanted to emulate: up throw, up air, up tilt, rest. And I realized that I wasn't able to get the up tilt off in time. I needed to L cancel the up air to be able to have enough time. So I started trying to L cancel, but nothing's happening. Up tilt is still delayed. Here's the thing, the L cancel training provided in Uncle Punch, which is my only point of reference, is just you alone on a map. But if your attack lands, time freezes for a second, meaning the timing that I had burned into memory for when to press the L button is going to be wrong if my attack actually hits. And moreover, the timing will change depending on when my attack hits, which means I have to wait for the attack to land, then input down an L. It wasn't a matter of me memorizing a series of inputs and having to press extra buttons when I didn't want to. It's a rhythm game, it's a reaction test, and if you pass it, you get rewarded. It's fun. And in that moment, I realized I don't even like Melee. Okay, it's probably more accurate to say I didn't like Melee, and that's far from the last time I'm gonna think to myself, oh, I've been playing so long, how did I not know about this? But it was the first time, and it's weird to me that it came so late. If you look, you will find many videos on this website attempting to address the question, why do people still play Melee? What makes Melee so fun? Why Melee? How Melee? Where Melee ISO? I don't know, you just have to have it. I don't know. But these videos don't tend to resonate with me because they all talk about things like L canceling. Here's my summary of every Why Melee is Great video. Sure, the complicated mechanics and sprawling moment-to-moment decision tree can ward off new players, but it's also Melee's strength. There's a perfect balance between strict input requirements and outcome flexibility to allow for endless growth in both player skill and player creativity. And more importantly, it means that there are endless ways to be good at Melee. Right, something like that. But I just didn't really fit that bill. My complicated mechanics were moving the C-stick in the opposite direction I was facing, and my moment-to-moment decision tree was, should I back air, yes, or not yet? And to be honest, most of the time I choose randomly. So why did I ever make it far enough into this maze to enjoy it? One must imagine Sisyphus happy. But if Sisyphus didn't have to roll the boulder, he'd never do it long enough to be happy. Unless, of course, there was a small, dedicated online community of people making videos about why it's so fun to roll boulders. There's a video by aMSa called There Will Never Ever Be Another Player Like Hungrybox. I highly recommend it. It's a well-crafted feature film-length documentary on the career of Hungrybox. I would call it my introduction to the scene. It's why I play Melee. It's why I play Puff. But I guess I'm realizing that I didn't want to be Hungrybox. I wanted to be aMSa. And I'm not the only one. Maybe I'm a bit naive because I'm not nearly as active in any gaming community as I am in Melee's, but it seems to be that there's a unique obsession with artistry in this scene. Most online content related to any game will be tutorials on how to get better, or full-length gameplay with funny moments, or some impressive skill presentation. And obviously that exists in Melee, but it's not nearly the most popular genre. aMSa, Walt, Fraser, Chaler, and even top players like Hungrybox seem far more interested in scripting and editing prepared op-eds than stream highlights or combo videos. And what's most interesting is they're rewarded for it. For example, there's a YouTube channel called Melee Juice, and I want to look at their last 6 videos. The 4 oldest are 3 combo videos and a puff tutorial. They're fine. They're entertaining, easy to make, and anyone who plays Melee would likely find value in them. But they got about 300 views each. The most recent 2 videos are long, scripted, prepared video essays. A 30-minute technical and in-depth video about Captain Falcon, and an hour-long video about the competitive scene. They're well-paced, well-edited, well-scripted pieces that, as someone who makes much shorter and less involved content, clearly took a lot of work. And they paid off. Both videos performed 50 times what any video had previously. There's a healthy appetite in this community for high-quality, long-form content, and I think that draws me to it far more than Melee itself. I think it's interesting that content creators who, in my opinion, have revolutionized the YouTube sphere made Melee videos early on. So maybe I don't like Melee yet, but I like what you guys have done with it, and it makes me and a lot of people like me want to be a part of it. So, good job. Now, as a means to give this video some sort of substance, here are my Melee video essay essentials. Earlier, I mentioned There Will Never Ever Be Another Player Like Hungrybox, which is of course essential viewing, but I wanted to mention its spiritual successor as well. When the former was released, it received some criticism for taking creative liberties in its retelling of Melee history. This video serves as to fill in some of those gaps, but also provides a parallel retelling of Mango's career. I think if you're going to watch anything, I recommend it should be these two videos, if only because it's probably the best way to, catch you up. This one's a doozy at a little over 4 hours, and the narratives are a little outdated at this point, but it's a keystone moment in Melee history, and probably the reason for everything that I was praising earlier as the first big presentation of Melee stories. If you want the origin story, I guess, this is where you'll find it. aMSa has done a lot of the legwork in terms of pumping out consumable and high-quality Melee content, mostly shorter videos dissecting quirky in-game mechanics. I would imagine that out of all the Melee creators, aMSa probably has the biggest audience of people who don't even play Melee. His videos are generally pretty agnostic to the details of the culture. But in terms of essential viewing, his most recent video is an hour-long documentary about the rise of aMSa, one of my favorite players competing right now. And in form, it's presented accessibly and concise. Big recommend. Up until this point, I have not mentioned a video under 50 minutes long, and I understand that's a big ask. This video is 3 minutes long, and it's incredible. Melee Moments has maybe the cleanest editing style on YouTube. The visual presentation is dense and sleek and stylized and musical. The Anatomy of a Perfect Combo is my personal favorite, but pick anything on the channel. There are videos on there that are 60 seconds long that will blow your mind. I really like this video. It's made by Turn Down for Walt and Neil Folan. It's effective storytelling, it's concise, it's visually interesting. It's Turn Down for Walt's video that I would recommend. But I wanted to caveat this edition by saying, of all the recommendations so far, I'm more so including Walt's channel as essential viewing. The bulk of his content are highlight reels or brief essays about events occurring or recently occurred in Melee today. I think his channel is the best way to stay in touch with what's happening right now. And finally, Melee is Way Too Hard by The Connor Show. Super cool video. You can find it on 1-2 Punch. Really great stuff from that guy. All right. That's my video. Bye.